Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming. I'm Michelle Thompson, and I'm the Associate Director of Children's Miracle Network at UC Davis Children's Hospital, and we welcome you. I'd just like to share a little bit. One of the programs that I run at UC Davis Children's Hospital is called Extra Life. And so Extra Life is a gaming fundraiser that I run locally. There's gamers all across the world that raise money for children's hospitals. So gamers have funded a lot at our hospital, including just all across children's services, but also including gaming units that we just purchased last year. So I thank you so much for that. And I also would like to share about our Sacramento Extra Life Guild, who is hosting this wonderful event. And I thank you all so much for doing that. And so now our Sacramento Extra Life Guild is a group of volunteers that help raise awareness and also funds for UC Davis Children's Hospital. Anyone that's interested in participating in the Sacramento Guild, we meet every third Thursdays from 5:30 to 6:30, and we'll put information in the chat. And then you can also catch us streaming here on most Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So, well, thank you so much, Majoring In, for this partnership. I'm excited to hear all of the educational resources that you have. But first and foremost, let me introduce the true host of this session, which is Josh, who is an Extra Life Guild member and has been raising money for UC Davis Children's Hospital for 5 years. So, hey, give it up in your homes. Give it up for Josh. Take it away, Josh.
Thank you very much, Michelle. I greatly appreciate that. And welcome to everybody this fine morning, afternoon. Everybody, welcome to Extra Life. I am Omega Apex 128. Josh, you could call me whatever you want. I don't care. But I am here, more importantly, with Majoring in Gaming co-founder Chris Cook. And I'm very excited to be here this morning and talk about majoring in gaming. Chris, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Josh. I am great. And I'm really excited to be doing my very first Twitch TV spot.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad. Don't be nervous.
Yeah.
I swear the people are nice. They're wonderful.
Okay, good. I'll believe you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I think we should just dive right into it. What is majoring in gaming?
Well, majoring in gaming is an online platform that provides resources to help students and their families, students who are interested in going into any aspect of gaming or esports, whether it's competitive play or it's designing the musical soundtracks for games or the computer interface or anything related to that. It's a free resource. It's majoringingaming.com, and it's designed to help students find the right path for them to get into that industry.
A very helpful resource by the sounds of it. That's for darn sure. So I naturally that begs the question, why did you create Majoring in Gaming?
Well, there was a need. My partner and I are both in higher ed and have been for many years in different capacities. Me in marketing, she in administration and teaching. And as we talk to people in higher ed, and especially people who help students get into their higher ed programs, we found that it's a growing field. It's we call it an emerging field. The whole gaming industry and esports are just taking off, as you all know. And the school counselors really didn't know how to advise students who wanted to get into this career path. And so we thought, well, let's put some resources together to help them do that. And the resources that we put together include, a very comprehensive list of all of the .edu. So those are the true college and universities, not the for-profit entities. All of those across the country and several out of the US. So there's a listing of all of them. Some of them have decided that they wanted to have a more meaningful presence on our site. So there's more information about some of them. You can search by major, by location, by the type of degree. And we also provide resources that really help students get into these programs, such as scholarship information. And we also do regular blogs that address kind of career opportunities that are available to students in this field, because, parents might just say, you want to do what? You want to major in what? Well, what are you going to do with that? So I'm guessing a few people listening right now have heard that. So this blog really helps people envision what they could do with a career in the gaming industry.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good tool, because I mean there does seem to be this sort of stigma that has been attached to this kind of industry for a very long time, and quite frankly, as somebody who once upon a time wanted to get into this industry, this is something that I wish would have existed back then, because I mean I can think to my past where I even once upon a time attempted to send a letter to Nintendo of America and was successful in doing so, but and they even responded to me and tried to direct me towards, well, you could try this and this, but I mean, how would anybody know to do that? So I mean, the simple fact that you have gone to create this sort of thing, I feel is just absolutely wonderful to finally give gamers this opportunity to be part of, in a greater sense, in a bigger spectrum, be part of something that they really do enjoy. So what are some of the other features of the site? The blog seems extremely helpful. So what else do we have that might come in handy when it comes to the site?
Yes, and thank you. The schools have been doing a lot to help us with the blog, and one of the most interesting posts recently was an interview with a female esports coach at Lawrence Tech University. And so that was pretty interesting. And then they also wrote a post about level design, which is something that runs through all different types of games, whether it's 2D, 3D, you name it. But some of the other things that students and their families would find really helpful are the ability to contact schools directly through this website, instead of finding the website and then having to go search through the college's website for, a way to get more information. So this is a direct link to the colleges. And as I said before, it's got the job and internship information. It's got career information, it's got scholarship information, and all of this is searchable. So, if you're a student in Kansas and you really want to go to school in New York City, you can search for schools in New York State, and that will help you narrow things down. Or if you really want to write music for video games, which is a thing, it's an actual thing, you can search that, and you'll end up with Berklee School of Music in Boston and, DigiPen and, several others. So it's a cool resource. And I gotta say, there are new schools being added virtually every single day because this career path is exploding.
So is this something, I'm curious, is this something that that you guys are just actively seeking out? Or are you doing this research to try to figure out which schools would be most centrally focused on this sort of thing? Or are these schools reaching out to you? Or how does that process work?
Well, it's both actually at this point, Josh. Our initial research was done by a student at University of Utah. So that was a kind of a summer project for this one student to get the ball rolling for us to build this site. But we are actively talking with esports coaches and program directors at schools all the time. And, you know, we're keeping our eye on things, and they're hearing about us too and contacting us. So, you know, if any of the people out there listening, watching, go to our site, majoringingaming.com, and you say, well, what about that school? Let us know, contact us, and we'll add it. You know, we want to make this the most comprehensive resource that there is available right now.
I can't help but feel that that would be the way to go. That's for sure. Like I said, I mean, if I could have had some kind of resource like this back when I was younger to help me figure out where to go and where I could get involved and, you know, anything like that, that would have been just absolutely phenomenal. So I would like to know then, so as far as majoring in gaming is concerned, great platform, great idea, great. I mean, it's just fantastic all around. How do you think this meshes with the Extra Life program?
Well, you know, from what I understand about Extra Life, there are a lot of kids recovering in the hospital, you know, through the Children's Miracle Network that are into gaming. And gosh, if they're getting, you know, more and more interested in gaming and thinking it could be something they really want to do as a career, well, this is a great venue for them to find out more information. And so, you know, our whole goal is to help students who want to create a life around gaming, a career around gaming, which can be very rewarding and lucrative, to give them those resources. And so it seems like a really good mesh. And we were super excited when we found out about Extra Life. And we've even since put our own team together. We're excited about that. And so if anybody's interested in joining the Majoring in Gaming Extra Life team, they can go to our Facebook page and get the information there. It'd be cool if we got a few people to join our team.
I think that would be absolutely amazing as well. And I do believe that our viewers in chat, for that matter, right now could actually use the command MIG to visit the Extra Life page that has been set up, if I am not mistaken as well. I think it's fantastic. I mean, you just think about that for a second. I mean, consider the fact that Extra Life is literally around to help these kids at various Children's Miracle Network hospitals around the nation. And just the sheer idea that these kids are receiving support from gamers to essentially, you know, help them get through whatever it is that they may be experiencing, and then potentially growing up to find themselves in the very field that kind of helped them to get through there. I mean, I think that just goes hand in hand. I mean, I think it's just an absolutely phenomenal opportunity, like I said. So I mean, I just amazing, just absolutely amazing. When you think about, you know, what could be, you know, you think 20 years from now, it's almost like, yeah, I was a kid at UC Davis Children's Hospital and got a lot of support from the Miracle Network and Extra Life, and now I use majoring in gaming to get in and make music for this game or write the code for this, like that just the idea that could be a thing, that's just amazing to me. So how are some of the other ways that you mentioned a Facebook page, and you did talk about an Extra Life, but how can people engage more with majoring in gaming?
So you know, go to the site itself. Again, majoringingaming.com. It's a pretty easy thing to remember. Go there and check it out. You know, look at the different schools that are there. You know, they're all there listed, but look at the ones that are really interested in recruiting students, the ones that are featured. And I see that we're scrolling through that site right now. At the very top of that page, you can do a search, you can look on the map, you can see all the featured schools. Check those out and request some information. It's as simple as that. Go in through social media. We do have Facebook. We also have Instagram, and we've got LinkedIn. So we're hitting a few different platforms. We do also have a YouTube page. Share this information with your friends. I bet you're not the only one interested in gaming. Share it with your friends. Get a group. Maybe you could all go to school together and be on the same team. I don't know.
That would be really cool, actually.
And then, yeah, totally. And then, encourage other schools to get involved. If you've been talking to some school and they're not even on the page, well, say, hey, you ought to know about this. You're recruiting me. Maybe you could be using this to recruit other people.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I'm definitely glad to hear that your presence is growing. That's for sure. I mean, you can Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn, and you said that you started a YouTube channel now as well. So I mean, just the very idea that I could be sitting here talking with something that is just going to absolutely get huge. It just makes me feel incredibly honored, and I love the idea that Extra Life has been able to come together and be part of this and just help to grow that, because I do really stand by this whole idea that wow, like I can't say it enough. I keep on saying it, and I've been thinking about it for the past month now, where I'm just like, this is just such a good resource. I do, like, legitimately, like, this is so good. I could see it being in a counselor's office or anything like that, or having a little brochure, or just even a table at like a fair or anything like that. Like, I mean, geez, there's just the sky's the limit for this sort of thing. I'm just so glad that that you guys are helping to make it easier for people to get into this kind of industry. So that leads me to want to know then, are there any other projects that you guys are working on?
Yes, there are. And actually, the first two sites that we did majoring in wine and we did majoring in beer, because those are also emerging areas. Anybody who's looking at the news can see, wine is taking off across the whole country. It's not just California anymore. And craft beer and brewing and spirits, that's another really interesting new career path that just seems to be growing and growing. Now, we do have a few others under development, and we're not going to spill the beans on those yet. However, if you've got any ideas, if there's a field that you really want to go into and you just can't seem to find information about, please let us know. That's how we're deciding which areas to move into next. We're talking to the school counselors, we're talking to students, and we're talking to their families. And one thing I think I forgot to mention, Josh, another way that people can get involved with us is to visit us when we go to conferences and conventions and that sort of thing. We're making a big presence at places like that. And I think we first met you guys at the SAC Gamers Expo a couple of months ago.
That's right.
So
yep.
We're going to things like that. We're sponsoring things. We're just trying to be out there and involved as much as we possibly can. So if there's events like that coming up, we might not know about them. So just ping us with that information too. We'd really appreciate it.
Well, now just even hearing about majoring in beer and majoring in wine, I can truly say that on behalf of gamers and behalf on people such as myself who have a mini fridge underneath their desk with beer, we greatly appreciate that. So thank you. So we do have a few additional questions here, and I think this is actually a really good point. As someone who was told growing up that, quote, gaming wasn't for girls, what is the level of enrollment of women? What are we seeing here? Do we see any kind of numbers there? Is there a kind of focus on trying to help these girls and women get into this industry as well?
Absolutely. And there's a big push for that nationally. If you look in our blog, there's a 2-part blog that was written by Bubba Gettert, who's the Gamers Association, that's got all kinds of research and data in it, talking about who is in this type of a career. And it talks about the benefits of going into gaming as a career. So yes, and the same thing with esports. As I mentioned, we have an interview with a female esports coach. There's an article in there about 2 women that are developing games. I mean, it's an area just like everything else these days where it's an equal opportunity area.
Okay. Yeah, no, I can't agree more. Because once again, that kind of goes back to the whole stigma of the whole thing. I mean, it was when we were growing up and we were kids of the 90s and the early 2000s and everything like that. And I mean, I'm sure things have changed. Well, I know things have changed a little bit more nowadays. There was just this heavy stigma attached to, why would you, that's not a job. That's not a thing, and everything like that. So I can't help but imagine that there'd be that even greater stigma. So the fact that this is something that is also being focused on, I think that's absolutely wonderful. And no, great question, that's for sure. But don't forget that these founders are women as well. So you just saying. So we also have an idea. So now you guys obviously have things under consideration as far as what different majoring in projects are in the works now. Do you take this? Do these ideas just kind of come to you as far as what would make sense as far as the industry goes, or do you actually actively take suggestions as well? Because it has actually been asked in chat about a majoring in voice, or majoring in voice acting, if you will, as far as an idea is concerned. So how do you get these ideas to begin with? Is it just you have identified these needs, or are you actively listening to the community? Like where do you get these thoughts?
Well, we come up with them ourselves, but we also listen to people. And that's how we really know. As I said, the school counselors are the ones mostly who say, gosh, all of a sudden, all these students want to go into X. I have no idea where to send them for that. So it's really the non-traditional, the non kind of mainstream. And so when I think about voice, that is not necessarily that hard to find information about. So it's probably not one that we would go into. Not that it's not a great career path and all of that, but it's not your political science. It's not your music. It's not going to be your pre-law, because those have been around for a long time, and people generally have a good idea of where to go for that type of an education. So it's more of the emerging things. A few years ago, we might have looked at sustainability as an idea, and that has become a lot more mainstream since then. But we're hearing things around homeland security. We're looking at other emerging businesses, like, for example, cannabis is taking off, especially on the West Coast. Women's studies used to be kind of the emerging area, and now it's more LGBTQ sort of things. Yeah. So, it's really trying to stay ahead of the curve as to what's coming up and what people are really wanting to go into. So it's changing all the time. And so we really do need to hear from people as to what they want to find out more information on.
That makes sense. That makes sense because I mean, I attended a class in college. It was a women in history class, and that class has now evolved into an LGBTQ studies class. So I totally understand what you're referring to there. Plus, I see what you mean as well as far as the field. Basically, you consider, it's like you talked about majoring in beer and majoring in wine, and then we have the gaming as well. It's almost like these are secret societies. How in the world do you get into these? Like, nobody knows. So that's the main thing. That's the thing. So that's I can see what you mean there. That's for sure. So does the website actually list any kind of online programs and degrees or anything like that, or does it just give you the resource as far as the school is concerned?
Oh, well, it lists for each school what degrees they have. Everything from badges to certifications to, associates, bachelor, master, doctorate. And some of those are completely online. Some of those are hybrid. So whatever the school offers is what we list.
Okay. Doctorate. I would love that. Let's get a doctorate in gaming, then we can all be Dr. Mario. That sounds like a plan to me. So how about non-college options? I mean, obviously college is people get their student loans. Maybe some people are able to get a grant or anything like that. But does the website actually take a look at non-college options for people who may not be able to afford it?
Not at this point. Right now, okay. Josh, we're completely focused on .edu institutions. And so those are accredited colleges and universities. Some of those have programs that are not actual degree earning programs. They're certificates. Okay. So those are not your typical 2 to 4 year programs, and they're typically not quite as expensive, but it's all programs originating from accredited colleges and universities at this point. Now, these are still new websites. They've been around a year, 18 months at best. And we are now starting to talk with corporate partners, to get additional funding to help, enhance the websites. We're also looking at going to maybe some for-profit schools and including them in the mix. But we needed to really focus in at the beginning on something, and we determined that would be the accredited schools.
That makes sense. I mean, you have to start somewhere. You have to have that foundation to start somewhere, and yeah, I mean that does make total sense. So you had mentioned that you were able to find us through convention here in Sacramento, Sacramento Retro Game Expo, and kind of make that connection. Is there a presence, is that sort of thing on the East Coast as well, or is it just a West Coast presence right now?
We're open to any place in the country. We are physically located on the West Coast. And so getting to Sacramento was a breeze for us, but we're going where the students are. We want to be where the students are. We were recently in Seattle at the National Association of Admission Counselors. Their big convention. We'll be down in Houston for that. We're going all over the place. And like I said, please let us know if there are things coming up that you think would be beneficial for us to go to.
Makes sense. It's Seattle, Nintendo of America, Microsoft. Why in the world would you go there?
Gosh, don't know.
Yeah, no. So no, that sounds great. That sounds great. There's a lot of really good information there, and like I said, I think the program as a whole is just phenomenal. And I really do hope and and continue to hope that anyway, that this continues to grow and that it helps these students find their path and just helps people in general find their path in whatever it is that they may be looking to do and contribute to the community, because I stand by this. I think the sheer idea that Extra Life is being able to kind of come together with majoring in gaming and just give these opportunities, I think that is just absolutely the best. That is for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look here and see if we have any further questions as far as our chat is concerned right now, our live chat is concerned, and see just if we have any more information or anything. Is there anything else that you would like to share with us?
You know, the thing more than anything I'd like to share is how excited we are, how this is taken off for us. You know, our website traffic is going up every single month. You know, our analytics look amazing. And the schools that are hopping on board are getting some good leads to students. And, you know, the more that we can have on here in a meaningful way, the more beneficial this resource is for everybody. So, you know, tell your friends, come and visit, check us out, and let us know if there's something that isn't there that you'd like to see, because we're constantly evolving it and trying to make it better. And, you know, it's here as a resource for students. And that's entirely its mission, is to help. So, you know, it's here for any level of student or person that wants to go into this field, you know, whether they want to enter as an associate, or they want to be getting a bachelor's degree, or maybe they've already got a degree and they want to start looking at a master's in some other form, or take it all the way to the doctorate. You know, yeah. It's amazing the opportunities that are out there, and we are trying to capture all of them. So please check it out. Let us know if we're missing anything and we'll add it.
That definitely does sound good. That's for sure. I can't help but think back to my own childhood. I'll never forget when I told my parents that I wanted to get a doctorate in computer science, and they're just like, what is that even? What even is? And this was, you know, or mid 2000s at the point in time. And I was like, well, I mean, this is the future. This is what's happening. And they just could not wrap their head around it. So like I said, what a great resource. I think it's great that you are giving that opportunity to, like you said, everybody. Doesn't matter your level, basically, whether you already have your associates and you want to take it further, or maybe you just want to go all that way, or you're just starting out. I think that's great that you're giving the opportunity to so many different levels and so many different people, for that matter. So yeah, definitely a good thing.
And Josh, you know, just to add on to that, if you think about gaming and esports, that audience might be traditionally more, you know, the younger, the traditional student age, you know, coming from high school. And if you think about beer and wine, that oftentimes is a second career for people. Yeah. So there's, you know, all different levels of people. And that's why our social media presence is what it is we're trying to be there for every age group, and all the way from, you know, the middle school up through the older adults that are looking to do something different with their lives. And as you're saying, you know, your parents were like, well, computer science, what? Well, and guess what? 10 years from now, we're going to be saying blank, what? Yeah. We don't even know what's coming, you know? And who knows, that career that the fourth grader is going to have probably doesn't even exist today.
No, I could definitely see that. Well, so that actually leads me to another question then, and that would be how how do you find yourself able to keep up with this stuff? I mean, are you just, like I said earlier, I mean, you have these, you obviously were able to create this, you sensed a need in the community and everything like that. So are you trying to stay ahead of the curve and trying to figure out, maybe this is going to be the next big thing and maybe we should jump on that now? Or are you just like, how do you handle that?
Well, like I said, my partner and I are both in higher education,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really part of our jobs to follow trends and, future predictions. That's what we need to do for our so-called real day jobs. And, there's a lot of research being done all the time. Higher ed is changing all the time. The job markets are changing all the time. And so we're just staying abreast of all the news that we can, and talking to people every day.
Okay. I was very curious because, yeah, I mean, I know I try to keep up with stuff, but I feel like I'm always behind. So, I mean, the fact that this is something that you have the experience with and that that makes me feel comfortable, knowing that at least somebody knows what they're doing. Because, I mean, for me, I mean, it's like, I don't know, I'll try to keep up with stuff, but boy, I'm always about it 5 years too late. So yeah, I think that's great that you are, that you obviously know what you're doing. That's for sure. And we did have a question here. I am curious as well. And, not sure if you're going to be able to answer this one, but is there a gaming class on the different ways to compartmentalize servers for different types of online games?
Gosh, I'd be surprised if there wasn't. I couldn't tell you where it is, though.
Yeah.
That's not my specialty. My specialty is bringing you the resources. It's not necessarily knowing in depth what all of them are. So visit our site, do a search. You'll probably find out that way.
Best way to go, I'd say. It looks like that search engine that you had on there with the drop down boxes and everything looks like it's a pretty handy tool, and you'll be able to find just about anything that you may be looking for there. So we can see here you've got your focuses, you've got your computer science, game design, the arts, music management. I mean, there's so many different things there within the programs, and then you hit that drop down and it's boom, there you go. Here's your top universities where, if this is what you're looking for, this is what you can, this is what we would say you should be looking into. I love seeing the DigiPen Institute of Technology on there in Redmond, Washington. That was the school that was recommended to me by Nintendo of America back in 2002. But again, I mean, how not every 12-year-old kid is going to nick the Nintendo of America address off their Nintendo Power magazine and send them a letter. So there you go. So no, I think that's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, no, I will, I'll go ahead and throw it over here again. Do we have any other questions in our live chat right now? Or perhaps anything that anyone would like to say while we still have this wonderful co-founder on with us? It doesn't look like it. I think we are good as well. So yeah, no, I would really, really like to thank you for being with us. Again, you guys can use the command MIG to check out the Extra Life page for majoring in gaming and help support them. We support them, they support us. It's a great partnership, I feel. The community continues to grow in both aspects, and I really do hope that you guys will look into this. And maybe if you know somebody that is looking for this type of thing, this kind of industry, you will direct them towards these links and help them to further expand their careers and let them get into a business that maybe once upon a time was a little bit more difficult to get into, but nowadays making it possible through resources such as majoring in gaming. Chris Cook, I greatly appreciate the time that you have taken with us today. And I thank you so much for all the great information and answering these questions and just having the opportunity to be able to chat with you and just provide all this great information.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure, Josh. I love your enthusiasm around this. And, we just love the Extra Life project, and we're excited to support it. And use that as a platform to get more people into the gaming and esports careers that can be so very lucrative and rewarding. So thank you so much.
No doubt about that. I do have, I actually do get one. I think this is pretty good. We do have one final parting question here. If we're alumni of colleges mentions, is there a way we can get involved as alumni?
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
Let us know, email me, chris@majoringin.com. Just email me and we'll start talking. And, like I said, we are open to all ideas. So please don't hesitate or, just give us a holler and let's see what we can do.
And there you have it, everybody. I greatly appreciate every single one of you for being here. Again, Chris, thank you so much for your time as well. On behalf of Michelle and Chris and myself, Sacramento Extra Life, I greatly appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you so much for your time. And we will be sure to catch up with you in the future. Hopefully this program goes well, and we look forward to working with you.